Today, we're going to talk about VeChain, so I'll show you exactly what I'm watching on the chart that will dictate whether VET moves higher or lower over the coming months. Now, if you guys are enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also click the bell icon so that you get notifications, because I am putting out these videos every day, Monday through Friday, so make sure you don't miss out. Okay, so looking at the VET weekly time frame, this is something that we have discussed now a couple of times where we had a trend line off of the August 2018 low. And this trend line pretty much capped the market throughout the bear market. And we had this inverse head and shoulders of sorts that had formed here. Now the market broke out back here, retested as new support, and then moved higher up toward about 28 cents. Now on the way back down, you would expect for this level to serve as support right around 6.5 cents. And it did not. Instead, the market broke right through it. So if we look at the daily time frame, you can see when Bitcoin was selling off, VET also closed below 6 and 6.5 cents. So as of right now, guys, we can say that overall, the market does not look all that great just because it is below both the trend line and also that horizontal level right between 6 to 6.5 cents. Okay, so we can also say that the market has to get back above that area. It has to reclaim that in order to turn bullish again. So it would have to close the day above 6.5 cents to then start to move back toward 10 cents, 12 cents, etc. Until that time, guys, I think you have to be careful here and also realize that the downtrend is intact. So same thing with Bitcoin. Like I said yesterday, I do think that a short-term bottom is in and we could get that move back toward 40 to 42,000. Same way with VET, I think we could see that move back towards 6 to 6.5 cents to really test that area as new resistance. So we could see a decent bounce here from the recent lows, but just keep in mind, the downtrend is intact and the market is now below that 6 to 6.5 cent area on a daily and weekly closing basis. Now, if we do see the market rotate lower from this area, so let's say that we do get a lower high from this area up around 6 cents. Okay, so if this holds as resistance, the next key support area for VET is going to come in right here around 3.5 cents. So if you look in early 2021, you can see where 3.5 cents back here was resistance and then support. Okay, so naturally that is going to be the next support area if we were to see a lower high develop right around 6 cents. So if VET cannot get above this area, if it can't reclaim this, then the next support area is going to be around 3.5 cents. Now, like I said, if it does reclaim this, close above here, flips this back to support, then we should see VET move back toward the 8 cent, potentially 10 cent area. So really everything is going to hinge on 6 to 6.5 cents. Okay. So if we look now, I want to show you guys something too, before we move on to the 4-hour time frame. So if we look at the daily chart here and these two recent highs, okay, so the all-time high and the lower high after that, and draw a descending channel using those two highs up there and drag it down and connect it with some of these recent lows in 2021, you can see where we have a potential equidistant channel that has formed here in the sense that if we were to see a move lower from 6 to 6.5 cents. So let's assume that VET cannot get back above that area on a daily and weekly closing basis, and we do see a lower high develop, then there is a chance we see a move down here into this 3.5 cent area. And the bottom of this channel makes that 3.5 cent region a lot more significant. Okay, so this is going to be one to watch down here at 3.5 cents if we do see that lower high develop. Now, alternatively, let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame because the market has entered some support here. All right, some short-term support in that we could see that move back up to resistance. So looking at the high back here, dragging off of these highs. Okay, so we have the high back here, this one, also this swing high, and then we have several lows back here. You can see where the market has come into support right around 4.5 cents. So at the moment, this market has come into some short-term support. Same thing with Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. So I do think that the odds of a move up here toward resistance right around 6 cents is pretty likely here over the coming days. But just remember though, that this is going to be a very strong resistance area and VET would have to close back above this in order to flip it back to support. Okay, so it's at short-term support right now. I do think we get that bounce back into 6 cents. And then from there, it's going to dictate whether VET moves higher up toward 8 or 10 cents, or we get that lower high down toward 3.5 cents. Okay, so that's really what I'm watching for VET here on the VET USDT chart. You can see there's a lot going on, and the market right now really is just kind of caught between support and resistance. Okay, so just keep this in mind. We could see a reclaim of that resistance area, but until we do see that, it is going to be resistance. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at these charts. Okay, so looking at VET BTC real quick, this is something that I noticed today where the market, if we look at this on the weekly time frame, you can see where we have this ascending channel that has formed here ever since really this low back here in late 2020. Okay, so the market has been carving higher highs and higher lows. And this is, again, VeChain versus Bitcoin, where the market is making higher highs and higher lows within this channel. Now, support comes in right here around 130 sats. You can also see where on the daily time frame, okay, this descending channel intersects with the same area. So 130 sats is right here. And you can see that we have this short-term descending channel to where the market has come in to support. So this also kind of backs the idea that we could see VET move higher even against Bitcoin here over the coming days. But the market is going to have to get back above this area up here, right around 160 to 170 sats. If we can see the market reclaim this, flip it back to support, the next area is going to be this longer term trend line up here right around 200 sats. That's going to be the next resistance if the market can take out 160. Okay, so really right now the market is at a long-term support. We'll see if it can reclaim 160 sats and move up here toward 200. If it doesn't and we see the market close below 130, then the next area to keep an eye on is going to be right around 110 sats. Okay, so going back to the weekly time frame, you can see that back here, 110 was resistance, resistance again here, support, resistance again. Okay, so this area down here would be next if we do see the market drop below 130. So really, just like with VET, it's going to be a matter of, do we see the market break back above resistance, in this case 160, or do we see that lower high develop from here and a move down here into 110 or so, which is going to be a critical support level. Now, keep in mind that would also put the market below the bottom of that long-term ascending channel. Okay, so the market has a decision to make here, just like with VET USDT. VET BTC has a big decision to make. Can it reclaim this, get it back above 160, move up here toward 200 for that breakout, or do we get the lower high? And last but not least is VET against Ethereum. So we've looked at this chart before on the weekly time frame. You can see where over the past few years, this market has formed this broadening wedge. Okay, so is the market going to retest this area down here or not? Is it going to move higher? I think that, we have to kind of assume that the market is going to continue to develop within this pattern until it doesn't. And furthermore, if you look here, just like a lot of other markets, we have a descending channel that's formed here over the past several months. Okay, so off of these highs up here, and again, this is the weekly time frame. You can see these highs here and then these lows. Okay, so really, can the market break above this resistance area up here and also get back above these lows? Okay, so it's a matter of carving higher highs and higher lows, because so far, ever since this high back here in April of last year, the market has just been forming lower highs and lower lows. So to reverse that, we need higher highs and higher lows. So can it do that? Or do we get that move down here into this long running support level that has been support for the last few years for VeChain against Ethereum? So once again, while we could see the breakout here from something like this, I do tend to think that this is a pattern until it isn't. In other words, if we've seen VET ETH retest this level over the past few years, I have no reason to suspect that it's not going to this time. Okay, again, if it does break above this and get back above these lows back here, then yes, I'll have to reevaluate that and say that maybe we don't get the retest all the way down here. Maybe the market does start to break out and move higher. But until that time, I am going to assume that we are going to get a retest down here over the coming months. All right, guys, so all in all, the market looks pretty dicey right now. I would just be careful out there, really. I think that we do get that move up toward resistance around 6, like I said. So that's kind of my base case for right now. The same thing with Bitcoin. going back to that $40,000 to $42,000 area, I do think a short-term bottom is in, and we see a move higher back toward resistance. The question is, do we then get a breakout from resistance or a lower high and then a lower low into, in VET's case, back down to 3.5 cents. So time will tell, guys. Right now, the market is just landlocked between support and resistance. And keep in mind, too, that we have an FOMC meeting tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. So that is going to cause a lot of volatility in the crypto market. So keep that in mind. Watch the 6 to 6.5 cent area for VET, as well as 3.5 and also 4.5 support for VET. All right, guys, I hope this video has helped. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, smash that like button, and leave your comment below. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.